I am Tamanna Goel, pursuing BCom Honours from Dyal Singh College, University of Delhi, a dream university to me and many out there. Did my schooling from St. Xavier's Senior Secondary School, Sirsa, Haryana. A special thing which I would like to mention here is, which needs to be mentioned, that I am the student of the experimental batch which gave plus 2 board examinations twice and also a first time CUET aspirant. Now, a question would be bouncing back in everyone's mind here is that why I specifically mentioned the last two pointers. Because the students out there of my batch would highly relate with the mental stress and trauma we as a batch on a whole face. If I talk mental health, mental trauma, question mark. Yes, this is where the topic of today's GSTS will revolve. The topic stands balancing mental health in the digitized world. There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. My major objectives that I would be covering through this GSTS would be what is mental health, the real problem, the reasons behind the devastating mental health of the people, but especially of the youth. Beginning with what is mental health? Health question mark. Health is a resource for everyday life, not the objective of living. It is a state of physical, mental, and social well being, a definition that has been heard numerous times but never has been focused upon. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. It also helps us determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. But the question arises, what is the real problem? Why only I am focused enough to dedicate majorly the reason towards the youth? Because World Health Organization estimates that around 20% of all children and adolescents live with a mental health condition representing an urgent problem in young people. A survey conducted in 10 countries showed that a quarter of the youth has mental disorders. In recent years, the excessive use of technology and social networks has been directly associated with mental illness. A survey conducted by Nimans Bangalore, the number one mental health institution of India and even of the entire world, gave us some major pointers which says that as per the data collected from the site, we found out in the financial year 2023, about 6.7 billion Indian rupees were available for the direct expenditure on mental health in India. Of the total budget, about 84% was allocated to solely Nimans alone, and the 6% was allocated to National Mental Health Program. So here is the major problem that despite of the Indian government taking such measures of indicating a major part of the expenditure of the union budget towards the mental health of the country, still also the youth is facing the major issues. Why we are not able to curb this problem? We would find out how. Just because we may not know exactly what causes someone to experience a mental health problem, this doesn't mean that it is any less serious than any other illness, any less deserving or recognition and treatment, or any easier to recover from. Just because simply a person seems to be happy, that doesn't mean he is mentally fit. He may be physically fit, but he may not be mentally fit. The next thing which I would be talking and stressing upon is the three major factors, according to me, which are the major reasons affecting the mental health of the people. The first one being societal pressure. Often we see there is a lot of pressure on the children and the youth around us that faces societal pressure. For example, I would like to quote a very recent incident which happened like 1 or 2 day back. I was just normally sitting and was going through my assignments, and I found out my roommate was very depressed. And I asked her, Ki, what happened? My exact words were like, भाई हुआ क्या तेको? She was like, भाई कुछ नहीं यार, पेरेंट्स का ना बहुत too much हो गया. I'm like, क्यों क्या हुआ क्या? The actual situation was her little brother, who is in like plus two, giving plus two board examinations this year, gave the examination of NDA, National Defense Agency, and has, by God's grace and by his own efforts, cleared the third attempt of NDA. But due to the because he was a first timer giving an entrance exam, and due to the stress and anxiety which children usually feel, he by mistake and in anxiety he wrote wrong roll number, due to which his marks got reduced and he wasn't able to get selected in the NDA team, and due to which his parents are pressurizing and again and again bounding him with the pointers like हमने तेरे पे इतना पैसा लगाया and this is what you are giving us. You can't even just clear a basic exam. We spent 27,000 rupees on your NDA coaching and this is what you are returning us back. तुझसे कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा, you cannot do anything, such and such things. The parents need to understand this creates a massive impact on a child's mental health. The fact that the child made it to the third level of ND exam, that should be rewarded and recognized by the parents irrespective, but they are just pressurizing him for the thing he was not able to do. So yeah, that thing added on that yes, we as children face a lot of societal pressure. It may be on the basis of discrimination between a girl and a boy. It may be due to not meeting up the expectations of the society. So yeah, that was the first major factor. The second major factor being the social isolation. Some of the children or some of the people are from their childhood only or from their school life itself are being isolated by the group of people, by a majority group of people. They are being ditched by other students, so that child creates a scenario in his own head and becomes and is forced into a situation where he loves to live alone, where he doesn't want people around him because he thinks the people around him would judge him brutally, would not relate with him. So that child throughout his own life just wants to be socially isolated from the entire world, which further puts him in a situation of mental trauma. So that was also a major factor. And the third one is we all can relate is overthinking. Not thinking something but thinking multiple thoughts at a time is nothing but overthinking, which not only children, not only youth, but even our teachers, our parents, all the people around us of any age group are being involved into. Overthinking is the major reason. That is why we are encircling in a whole circle bounded by mental trauma and stress. So these were the three major factors which I feel were the major reasons. Now, if I have the honor of like Department of History of Shyam Lal College and me being a commerce scholar, so I thought why not including the history of mental health in this PPT would add a crispy twist to this presentation. So, but this also gave me major insight that the history. I never thought that mental health would have some ancient connections also, but when I was researching and going through my topic, I found out yes, it indeed has some ancient and some historic connections attached. This is how it is. It is like century by century, our ancient scholars have added some pointers in the mental health study. Throughout history, people have explained mental illness in different ways. Early on, supernatural explanations blamed evil spirits or displeased gods. Later, somatogenic theories pointed to physical issues like imbalances in bodily fluids, while psychogenic theories focused on traumatic experiences and distorted thoughts. In ancient times, treatments like trephination, which is drilling holes in the skull, as we all have seen in the movies around, were used to release evil spirits. The Middle Ages saw a return to supernatural beliefs, leading to witch hunts and persecution of the mentally ill. The 16th century came up and marked the start of asylums where people were confined and often mistreated. But in the 18th century, a new thing came up, which was humanitarian reforms aimed to improve conditions for the mentally ill. Philippi Finnell and others advocated for moral treatment, emphasizing dignity and purposeful activities. However, overcrowding led to a decline in humane practices. In the 19th century, Dorothea Dix advocated for state hospitals in the US, with the 20th century led to a new edition which saw the rise of psychoanalysis and psychotropic medications. Today, Today, a biopsychological model considers genetic, psychological, and socio-cultural factors in understanding mental illness. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual and Mental Disorders (DSM) provides a standardized way to diagnose mental disorders, which is in the 21st century. However, it has been also criticized for some cultural biases over diagnosis and stigmatization, and treatment of mental illness continue to evolve. We are all are still in the process of evolving century by century on how to treat the major issue of mental illness. The next point which comes up is the social media impact, as all my teachers and all my elderly people would highly relate, as the common statement comes up, इस फोन ने सबकी जिंदगी बिगाड़ रखी है, which is absolutely true. But not only will discuss the problem here, but with the solution, which is digital detox. The solution to the problem of social media impact is digital detox. Now, social media impact. Social media use and mental health may be related, and the displaced behavior theory could assist in clarifying why. The displaced behavior hypothesis is a psychological theory that suggests people have limited self control, and when confronted with a challenging or a stressful situation, they may engage in some negative behavior. Numerous studies show prolonged use of social media sites may be linked to negative manifestations and symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress. The constant exposure to screens, social media, and instant communication not only shapes their worldview but also impacts the neural circuits involved in emotional regulation. The blue light emitted by screens can disrupt sleep patterns, exacerbating late night overthinking as teens are drawn into the vortex of virtual social stress. Now comes up the solution to the problem of social media impact, which is digital detox, the remedy to social media addictions. What is digital detox? Digital detox means taking a break from using an electronic device or being online for a scheduled amount of time. You can decide how to digital detox and for how long. It's helpful to have a plan, set boundaries, and have a support system. Sometimes there may be circumstances when I'd go check a message and an hour later I'm on social media. So, digital detox is basically, in simple terms, I quote, is a process which is maintaining a distance from your phones or your social media connections for a certain amount of time. It's obviously, because we're in the 21st century, it's obviously not able for all of us to completely ditch our phones for like 24 hours, because if social media has pros attached, if it has cons attached, it has pros also attached along with it. We all function due to the social media present out there, so we need that also in our life. So the best solution would be not to eliminate it but to cut off it for specific periods of time. The next creative element I was waiting for from beginning is the 3 a.m. trauma, and the solution is the 5 a.m. club. All the youngsters out here would relate with me what is the theory, what the conspiracy of 3 a.m. trauma, and all the elderly people would relate what is the 5 a.m. club. So we are in a situation where we need to connect both of them together. What is 3 a.m. trauma? A licensed mental health counselor, Nikki Treadway, explains that during the day, most people with anxieties are distracted and task focused. They are feeling symptoms of anxiety, but they have better places to land them for moving from place to another. But when the nighttime anxiety sets in, Treadway explains that the body is shifting into its natural circadian rhythm. The light is going down, the melatonin production in the body is going up, and our body is telling us to rest. But for someone who has anxiety, leaving that place of hyperarousal is difficult. So their body is in a kind of fighting that circadian rhythm. According to a study, panic attacks occur with the greatest frequency between 1:30 and 3:30 a.m. At night, things are frequently quieter. There is less stimulation for distraction and more opportunity for worry. The 3M anxiety which we as a youth face would be number one would be our career anxiety. Are we gonna make up? Are we gonna fulfill the expectations of our elders, of our parents, of our teachers? Are we gonna get successful in our lives? This is the major anxiety issues we people face. But the basic, as simple solution which someone can ever give is the thing that do not stay up long in the night. Sleep early, have a fixed routine. If we as children, we as people wouldn't wake up till early, wouldn't would remain early in the night, there are high chances we would face these anxiety issues. So a better way to avoid this midnight trauma is to sleep early. Now, the solution to this 3 a.m. trauma is given by the 5 a.m. Club, which is a book written by Robin Sharma. As in the picture in the PPT, the front cover of the book is given the 5 a.m. Club given by Robin Sharma. According to him, our brain is in the most calm, focused, and productive when we are awake. Beginning our day early and with an hour to ourselves helps us start off on the right foot to enjoy a more energized and a productive day. But this theory has some neuroscience backing attached to it. Your brainwave activity naturally fluctuates throughout the day. When you first wake up, you are in the theta brainwave state, which is in between daydreaming and an active brainwave activity. Think of the theta state as your natural zen mode, and donating this state of mental relaxation can set you up for the increased productivity as the day process. So the solution to 3 a.m. trauma is 5 a.m. club. Sleep early and wake up early. Now, as we all have seen our ancestors coming up and saying the importance of yoga in our mental health, so which I found out was indeed true. The role of yoga. Yoga is interested primarily in the practice and not words. The goal is to dig up the real cause of mental conflicts and eradicate conscious and unconscious problems. Some authors affirm that one must overcome the unhappiness associated with the mental conflicts before experiencing real equanimity. Actually, many people search for yoga because they have deeply rooted problems that they wish to remove. If they did not acknowledge these problems or miss something in their lives, they wouldn't have started the practice of yoga. It is as simple as that. And maybe there would be no motivation factor in their lives in the first place. In this sense, it is said that the problems become positive resources that drive us to do something valuable with our lives and teach us to look at mental conflicts from a whole new different perspective. Besides, say that while yoga aims at emptying our minds, it doesn't try to fill it up with new dogmas. The ancient practice affirms that every conditioning must be removed and never replaced by new ones, and that the mind must be clear from all the problems that causes conflicts. The same author said that this is not achieved through an isolated technique or after a specific number of sessions. Instead, the effects of meditation seem to be better experienced when we are not practicing. According to yoga psychology, the most fundamental and recurrent mental problem is the lack of meaning. It has seen and said that the strongest drive in people's life is the need to find meaning. Most mental problems by are caused by the simple fact that people do not add values to their life. Everything seems superficial, meaningless, and hopelessness, resulting in the powerful negative emotions that cause the real breakdown, which is the reason of mental trauma. This process has been recognized and stated the method of yoga, not only the physical practices, but especially the entire cognitive restructuring that this ancient discipline is capable of doing, seems to help people in this sense. Even if not recognized as a mental problem by modern psychology, this is how yoga psychology classifies conditioning. In other words, those too attached to concepts and dogmas have a mental problem. According to conditioning turns the mind into a collection of rigid and stereotyped patterns instead of a reservoir of spontaneous ideas representing the obstacle to real perception. This category also includes a tendency to accept ideas without personal experience. Moreover, yoga of Psychology proposes a three-point approach to this problem, which is, according to first, one should try to avoid the occurrence of these disturbances. Obviously, we as human beings at the first place should avoid these disturbances in our natural life, because the first route is obviously to avoid all the negative factors in our life. The second one would be to empty the mind of pre-existing complexes and leave it open and susceptible to adverse must drain all the conscious problems. And the third one would be one should find out and eliminate subconscious problems. However, these ancient definitions of conditioning are different from modern concepts. Modern psychology explains that the conditioned view that occurs through classical conditioning makes an original neutral stimulus involve a certain response due to the combination of an electricity. So this is how yoga plays a very important role in our life. The major takeaways that we all should take from this GSTS talk, which I believe would be the four pointers which I feel the basic solutions of avoiding mental health could be found on Google or on YouTube very simply. But these are some four pointers which I actually believe are really helpful and should be once in lifetime should be tried and tested by everyone out there. The first one would be journaling. Start noting down things in your head, all your constructive, unconstructive, numerous thoughts which flush in our mind. Just write, just take a diary and a pen and just try to jot things out. It would be really helpful. When we try to write our overthinking, our overconscious thoughts on a diary, we are left with nothing. One day at night, I was involved in this conscious circle of overthinking. I was thinking, ये कैसे होगा, वो कैसे होगा, ऐसे कैसे होगा. I took a pen and a piece of paper and I wanted to start jotting things down. And believe me or not, I was not able to write anything. Because when I took the pen in my hand and I started noting the thoughts in thoughts on the paper, I found out they all were meaningless thoughts. They all were the thoughts which cannot be just written down. That was all the imagination which was going through in my head. It was nothing productive. I wasn't thinking about any productive thing. I wasn't just able to write down a single word, and I was shocked that in my head I was going through millions and millions of thoughts, but when I came to writing, I'm left with nothing. So that day, the realization hit me hard that yes, it's all in our head, as said by me previously. The second major key takeaway would be meeting deadlines. Believe me or not, we face mental stress when we are unable to meet our deadlines, when we have tons and tons of work lined up in our head. Suppose me being in different college societies, also me having various assignments the same day. Also, I have to attend an event which is very compulsory for my internal assessment. But me not completing my assignment, me not preparing for my test, and not following up a fixed timetable and routine, the things get adding up in my head. ये करना है, वो करना है, ऐसे करना है, वो करना है. The things which were 2 get 4, get 6, get 10. The number of work that has to be completed increases by number, which creates a mental stress on my mind. When my work gets completed, when I checklist my task which I have written down, what kind of mental stress will I have? Because if I have completed all my deadlines, if I am on time, I'm able to show my presence everywhere and excel in each of the work I'm doing. If I have prepared for my test priorly, because because we are in college, we do not know whenever we have to face what kind of situation. And if I'm done with my test preparation before only, I've completed my assignments before time, I can have a ample amount of time to just chill and enjoy also. If I am able to balance my work life with my personal life, with my entertainment, not costing any of the things, there is no mental trauma left. There is no stress and anxiety left. If mm, I have my two of my teachers here, if they can obviously relate with me. If they have all their schedules clear and all their tasks done, there is no trauma. It's mentally free. It's like I have time. I can go and enjoy. Go and enjoy my life. If I can go and enjoy, why I would be unhappy? The third major key takeaway would be fixing time schedules, as mentioned by the concept of the 3 a.m. trauma and the 5 a.m. club. Because if we follow a fixed pattern, a fixed timeline of sleeping early and waking up early, fixing our health routines, which is a basic, a bare minimum, which is a huge thing for our generation, but a very bare minimum thing for our parents. If I feel a very funny incident was quoted, I was just writing down my, New Year goals, New Year resolutions, and my father was sitting behind me, and my one goal was like waking up early. So my father saw that and he laughed at me. Is this your New Year resolution? I'm like, yeah, what? Why it can't be? He was like, time pe utna is something I have been doing from years. And the bare minimum thing which I have been doing from years is your New Year resolution. He was astonished, and it was a very strange fact for him that for the 20th, 21st century generation, certain basic things of working on our physical fitness, waking up early, sleeping early is also such a huge task that it counted to be in my New Year resolution. So that day I got the realization ki we as youth doesn't just exaggerate things. Yeah, we do that. And the last one would be trust in God. Whosoever God we all may believe in, trust in God, trust in His power, because at the end of the day, that is the real hope we all have, that yes, He's there. Everything would go as per our planning. If not as per our planning, this is what the plan He has made for us. So, yes, this is me wrapping up my GSTS 144 Tamanna Goel. And the thing which I kept for end is the reason of me taking the topic of mental health would be because it is something very personal and very close to my heart. When I got the option of choosing topic, I chose the topic of mental health because I personally can relate with it, because my own brother is a psychiatric patient who is getting his treatment from PGI Chandigarh. And last 1 year has been a very traumatic year for me and my family itself, because uh, we went to numerous psychiatrists, we went to numerous counselors around the world. We went to Chandigarh, we went to Delhi, we went to Jaipur, CK Birla Hospital in Jaipur, PGI in Chandigarh. We also went to Ganganagar for Nagpal Clinic. We went to so many institutes, and one of the reputed psychiatrists of PGI Chandigarh told to my parents that it is not only your kid has this problem, it is the problem which each and every child of this generation faces. Just because the problem in your child has reached to a certain extent that he needs appropriate medications for the treatment, he told for me, this child also has a mental health problem. This child also has anxiety issues, has trauma issues. And not only your child, each and every children of this generation has this problem. It's just that some have it high level, some have it low level. So yeah, this is me wrapping up my talk. Tamanna Goyal signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Tamanna. That was really a wonderful session. Obviously, like mental health is a topic which is worth discussing in the contemporary era. Obviously, like हर एक second person को ये particular चीज है और वो इस चीज से जा रहा है. So it's worth discussing such topics. और आपने इसमें जो digitalized era का part include किया है, that was really wonderful. You also gave the solutions at the end. एंड नाउ प्रोसीडिंग फर्दर हमारे पास कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं जो ऑडियंस ने पूछे हैं आपसे. सो लेट्स टेक देम वन बाय वन. द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन आई वुड टेक इज बाय मिस्टर अजय, और वो पूछ रहे हैं कि डिजिटल वर्ल्ड एक ऐसी चीज है जिसको हम इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते. अगर हम प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेम्प्रेरी एरा की बात करें तो ये हमारे लाइफ का ना एक इंटीग्रल पार्ट बन गया है, डे टू डे लाइफ का. वी कांट इग्नोर इट. तो ये कैसे डिसाइड करें कि कितना एक्सपोजर हमको देना चाहिए इस डिजिटल वर्ल्ड को, या फिर वो कौन सा पॉइंट होगा जहां से ये हमें बैडली इफेक्ट करने लगे, हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ को बैक नेगेटिवली इफेक्ट करने लगे. सो व्हाट आर योर सजेशंस ऑन दिस?
That was a very nice question, I believe. The thing that द क्वेश्चन कंसिस्टेड कि हम आज के टाइम पे इस चीज को एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते. Social media cannot be eliminated, which is true. I truly believe that the solution which I gave, digital detox, would be an appropriate and efficient answer to that question. Fixing up your time schedules. And the question, another question asked was ki how to decide ki when we are getting addicted and when we are not, is simply the habit. The my personal approach to this kind of problem would be, first deciding that my productivity level for a day I set is has been met or not. Am I able to achieve my daily targets or not? After completing my daily targets, I take a I take a specific amount of time from my daily schedule that I will dedicate for my entertainment and for my social media time, obviously. But uh, considering the fact in mind that I am not addicted to that, when I do not have the right time to spend in my entertainment purposes, when I have work commitments, I should be able to prioritize that over my entertainment time. If I have that priority set in my mind, it means I'm not addicted and I'm well aware of the things I am doing in my life.
Okay, like we should make like our mind very clear कि हमें कितना time ही देना है. We shouldn't exceed
We
that
should,
time
yes,
limit.
we should keep our priorities straight.
Okay, that's really really well answered. Okay, next question is कि why is अच्छा okay ये हमेशा हम like हर किसी के साथ ऐसा होता है कि we always become so much dependent on a particular person or a particular thing to such a extent कि at the end में आके ना वो हमको mental stress देके जाती है. Let's suppose कि कोई भी एक इंसान है, हम उसके जैसा बनना चाहते हैं या उसके जैसा दिखना चाहते हैं. We have some society standards. तो वो चीजें अगर हम वैसा नहीं बन पा रहे हैं एट द एंड में तो बहुत ज्यादा मेंटल स्ट्रेस देती हैं. एक क्वेश्चन एक सेल्फ क्वेश्चन रेज होता है दैट वेदर वी आर केपेबल और नॉट. सो हाउ शुड बी लाइक मैनेज ऑल दीज काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशंस.
See, this is a very normal problem which I guess most of us face कि हम सबकी खुद की लाइफ्स में कोई ना कोई हमारे आइडल्स होते हैं which we refer to or we want to become like. बट इतना क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट होना चाहिए कि हमें उनके जैसा बनना है. हमें वी कैन नॉट जस्ट रेप्लिकेट दैट पर्सन, हमें उनके जैसा बनना है. वी शुड टेक वैल्यूज फ्रॉम दैट पर्सन. उसके लिए, एंड दैट इज अ लॉन्ग ड्रॉन प्रोसेस जो कि एक नाइट में या ओवरनाइट में नहीं हो सकता. दैट वुड टेक टन्स एंड टन्स ईयर्स ऑफ हार्ड वर्क जो हमें उसके अंदर पुट इन करने में लगेगा. एक स्ट्रक्चर और एक बैलेंस के अकॉर्डिंग अगर हम चलते हैं कि हाँ हमें अपने गोल्स कैसे अचीव करने हैं, तो उसके साथ वो पॉसिबल है. इफ अगर मैं पहले से ये टारगेट लेके चलती हूँ कि मुझे तो ओवरनाइट मिलियनेयर या बिलियनेयर बनना है, तो ऑब्वियसली वो मेंटल स्ट्रेस के अलावा बहुत अनरियलिस्टिक गोल है. वो सेट करने से कुछ नहीं होगा. सो द बेसिक थिंग वुड बी कि स्लोली एंड स्टेडली प्रॉपर प्री प्लानिंग के साथ इट कैन बी अचीव्ड विदाउट एनी स्ट्रेस. और ऑब्वियसली स्ट्रेस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ. हम उसको एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते, बट हम उसको हैंडल इफेक्टिवली कर सकते हैं.
Okay, so like choose your goals very realistically. Also like choose the people very wisely जिसके आसपास आप हैं या जो आपके आसपास है. Okay. नेक्स्ट इज बहुत सारे केसेस में ऐसा होता है कि जैसा आपने बोला भी स्टार्टिंग में आपने एग्जांपल भी दिया था कि फैमिली जो है अपने बच्चों पर बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर डालती है कि आपको पढ़ना है, आपको ये करना है. छोटी सी अगर मिस्टेक हम करते तो उसके लिए बहुत सारे ताने सुनने को मिल जाते हैं इवेंचुअली एट द एंड. तो इस सिचुएशन में हमको तो पता है कि हाँ हमको कैसे जागरूक होना है या फिर हम तो ऑलरेडी उस मेंटल स्ट्रेस से जा ही रहे हैं. व्हाट आर दी वेरियस थिंग्स जिससे हम पेरेंट्स को जागरूक कर पाए कि नो दिस इज रॉन्ग, दिस इज रियली रॉन्ग. बिकॉज पेरेंट्स के केस में एक फॉर्मेलिटी एक आइडियलिस्टिक चीज एक अप्रोच हमारे सामने आ जाती है. सो हाउ पेरेंट्स को हम कैसे इस चीज के बारे में बताएं या जागरूक करें कि दिस इज रॉन्ग और ये बच्चों के दिमाग पे बहुत ज्यादा मेंटल इसका जो असर है वो बहुत ज्यादा खराब होता है. सो हाउ हाउ विल बी एबल टू डू दैट.
द फैक्ट दैट जब इस एपिसोड की रिकॉर्डिंग यूट्यूब पे डलेगी, माई पेरेंट्स आर ईगरली वेटिंग टू वॉच दैट. तो मैं इसको और इफेक्टिवली आंसर करती हूँ बिकॉज माई पेरेंट्स वुड ऑल्सो बी वॉचिंग. द फैक्ट दैट कि पेरेंट्स की भी हमसे बहुत एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती है और उनको मतलब व्हाट आर द थिंग्स एट देयर एंड दैट दे शुड डू. ऑब्वियसली आई बिलीव, जो मैंने एग्जाम्पल भी दिया था अपनी रूममेट का, जो उसके ब्रदर वाला सीन था एनडीए वाला, पेरेंट्स की उसमें गलती ये नहीं है, उनका थॉट गलत नहीं है. वो भी यही चाहते हैं कि उनका बच्चा अपने करियर में स्ट्रांग बने, एक उसको जॉब मिल जाए ताकि वो एक स्टेबल करियर और एक गुड लाइफ अफोर्ड कर सके। उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस गलत नहीं है, बट उनका वे गलत है। वो उनको उनको इस चीज की रियलाइजेशन नहीं होती कि वो अपने बच्चे की भलाई के लिए ही सोच रहे हैं, बट वो भलाई का सोचते सोचते वो उनको नेगेटिव बाउंस बैक होके बच्चे को ही परेशान कर रहा है एट द एंड, क्योंकि उनका वे ऑफ प्रोसेस गलत है। आई वुड नॉट से कि मेरे केस में ऐसा नहीं होता, पर्सनली मेरे साथ भी बहुत बार होता है कि मैं अपने पेरेंट्स को कोई चीज समझा रही हूँ कि मम्मा पापा ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे आप लोग एक्सपेक्ट सही कर रहे हो बट ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे करना चाहिए। वो लोग भी नहीं समझते। दिस इज ड्यू टू द जनरेशन गैप दैट वी हैव, बिकॉज वो उस जनरेशन के थे, उसमें उसकी भी गलती नहीं है, उनकी भी गलती नहीं है। हम आज इस जनरेशन के, हम इतने ओपन माइंडेड है, हम इतने एक्सपोजर में हैं आज, इसलिए हम ये चीज समझ पा रहे हैं, बिकॉज उनके टाइम पे उनके पास इतना अवेलेबल एक्सपोजर नहीं था, इसीलिए वो आज के टाइम के अकॉर्डिंग एडजस्ट नहीं हो पा रही। बट आई एम थैंकफुल इनफ कि मेरे पेरेंट्स इतने एडजस्टिंग है कि वो, अगर उनको कोई चीज से वो मेरे साथ अग्री नहीं भी कर पा रहे, तो दे आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द करंट सिचुएशन कि मेरे टाइम पर सर्कमस्टांसेस अलग हैं। सो इसके अंदर तो ये है कि इसका करेक्ट आंसर तो आज तक मैं भी फिगर आउट नहीं कर पाई कि एग्जैक्टली exactly समझाऊं कैसे। बट द थिंग जो मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स से सीखी ना, आई अप्रिशिएट देम कि दे आर ट्राइंग टू चेंज अकॉर्डिंग टू टाइम, दे आर ट्राइंग टू अकोमोडेट चेंजेस। सो या।
Okay, okay. Okay, so the last question which I'll take is from Mr. Chinmay Garg, and he's asking how can we as a society foster a more inclusive and supportive environment for individuals with invisible mental health challenges, considering the pervasive stigma and lack of awareness that often surrounds, these conditions. किस तरीके से, नॉट विद दैट थिंग कि मतलब जो ट्रेडिशनल मेथड चला आ रहा है कि ऐसा मत करो वैसा, मतलब व्हाट आर सम न्यू टेक्निक्स जो हमारे कंटेम्प्रेरी एरा के साथ को रिलेट कर पाए, वो ऐसी टेक्निक्स क्या है जो इनविजिबल मेंटल हेल्थ चैलेंज को लेकर हम अवेयरनेस फैला पाए एज अ सोसाइटी। सो
The first thing we can do, which is the bare minimum, which is expected from all of us out here, is that never be rude to people. Always be kind to them. You never know कि कौन कैसा दिख रहा है और कौन एक्चुअली किस चीज को फेस कर रहा है। एज अ कोटेशन जो मैंने बहुत स्टार्टिंग में अपनी पीपीटी में प्लेस की थी कि इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज कि इट इज विजिबल, इट इज नॉट अ फिजिकल प्रॉब्लम जो आपको शो हो जाएगी कि अच्छा इस बंदे को ये दिक्कत है। इट इज समथिंग जो एक बंदा मेंटली फेस कर रहा है। जस्ट बिकॉज आई एम स्माइलिंग इट डजेंट मीन आई डू नॉट हैव millions of thoughts, millions of confusing thoughts rushing in my mind. Maybe I have a problem. मेरे भाई को दिक्कत है ये मुझे पता है, बट पीपल आउट देयर डजंट नो। वो उनसे मिलेंगे, सब कुछ करेंगे, कोई नहीं दिक्कत, बट वी एज अ फैमिली नो कि व्हाट ही इज गोइंग थ्रू। सो उसी अकॉर्डिंग तो सबसे फर्स्ट थिंग विच वी कैन डू इज ऑलवेज बी काइंड टू पीपल अराउंड अस एंड ऑलवेज बी रेडी टू हेल्प। Whenever we feel someone is not okay, just go and talk to them. Yes, correctly said. Smile is the best way to hide pain. So, yes, what we as whole on a community can do is just be kind to people and help whenever we are able to help people around.
okay, so yeah, that was wonderful question answer session. Last question from our side. What was your experience with this platform, Graduate Scholars Talk Series?
Okay. So my experience was a very fun, was a very knowledgeful, and I would thank this platform of GSTS for building me up with the confidence of sharing my personal life, of sharing my personal experiences, my known one personal experiences. I was able to share it here. Also, when I was researching about this topic, I never in my head ever thought that mental health would be connected to ancient history. If someone would have said me that before this talk, I would like, पागल है क्या, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है। But when I went through this, I got to know that yes, mental health had some ancient connections attached to it. People say yoga is the best solution to mental health, but why yoga is the best solution? That is what I got to know through this talk. Also, when we were going through the practice sessions, solutions me, the solutions I first offered were some very journalized one, But when Sir told me, Tamanna, solutions should be the one that you can personally follow, that are something not like available anywhere, that should be personalized and should always be remembered as given by you, your personal things that you do to when you are in a mentally stressful condition, that you personally do to eradicate your trauma. So I personally found out my solutions, what I actually do, and I was able to share that with everyone out there.